So today's video is gonna be about a very spooky and very haunting station and about a train. The topic is the Vanishing Train, the curse of Begunkodar Station. It all starts with a breaking news. Reports confirm that Begunkodar Station remains abandoned after multiple disappearances. Locals warn travelers to avoid the 11:45 p.m. train, as those who board it are never seen again. Maya, our protagonist, blinked at the crackling speaker overheard, her unease growing as she stepped onto the damp platform of Begunkodar Station. The sign above flickered unpredictably, struggling to hold on to the present just like her nerves. The air was unnaturally cold for a summer night, and there were very few passengers. But those passengers were standing very still. They wouldn't face Maya, but they were looking in a different direction, which was very strange. The silence was very strange, and suddenly you could hear a sound at a distance, which was more of a whistle. It was echoing through the empty night, and the train was arriving. So let's get into some of the backstory of the station. Years ago, Begunkodar Station was small, but it was very lively, and it was always bustling with travelers and railway workers until one night in 1967, there was an unspeakable horror which cursed the station forever. So back in the days, there was a station master whose name was Raghunath Singh, and he was the very first person who witnessed this. And he said that there was a mysterious woman, and she was in white saree. She was wet in rain, drenched in rain, and she appeared on the platform every day before midnight. She always stood near the tracks and was staring into a distance. And it was as if she couldn't hear the station master's calls. And when the last train of the night approached, she would step on the tracks, but she wouldn't get hit by the train, as she vanished into thin air. The next day was the worst. The station master was found dead in his office, his face twisted in the very fear, and his nails were clawing at his own throat. His death, according to the paramedics, was said that was a heart attack, but there was a different truth that was told by the workers. They said the woman has cursed him. And after that night, every night there was strange things that happened at that Begunkodar station right at 11:45 p.m. The first one being the passengers that reported that they saw the ghostly woman and who was always waiting at the platform, and her eyes were always dull and lifeless. The trains that were passing through Begunkodar, they would lose contact with the control room. And the very unlucky passengers who boarded the train at right 11:45 p.m. never reached their destination, and their whereabouts are unknown. So within a year, the entire station was abandoned, left to decline, and the government, they declared that it was a non-active station. But the local knew that the train was still running. The train always came to Begunkodar Station at exact 11:45 p.m. But the passengers it took away never returned. Part 1. The Last Journey. It was 11:40 p.m. The air was thick with the scent of rain as Maya, our protagonist, stepped onto the dimly lit platform of Begunkodar Station, and there were passengers alongside Maya. It was spookily quiet, and that silence was very unsettling. Even the ticket counter was empty, and in 5 minutes, the last train of the night was set to depart. She looked around. The scattered passengers stood motionless. The faces were partially covered by the shadows cast by the flickering overhead lights. And if I have to describe the train, it looked like as if it was the leftover of the past, which made a very annoying creaking noise as it came to a stop. The train was too old, far too old, that it was a miracle to know that the train was still running. The metal had rounded, the windows were fogged, and the doors, they opened with a very unwilling scream. Something, not just something, but everything about it felt wrong. But Maya had no choice. It was either this or waiting until morning. Maya hesitated as she stepped inside, and the carriage, it was empty, and only a few passengers took a seat. Among the passengers was a deformed man wearing a ragged coat, and there was a woman who was wearing a black overall, and with the woman there was a small child who was holding a stuffed rabbit, and that child was the definition of creepiness and stillness. No one spoke, no one looked at her. She moved to the middle of the carriage and took a seat near the window, and as she glanced out the window, she noticed her reflection, which was distorted in the glass as the train began its slow pitching departure. She pulled out her phone and saw that there was no signal. It was strange. She had signal while she was on the platform, but now on the train, she got no signal. Strange, very strange, she thought. There had always been service in this part of the town, and now the train was picking up the speed. The rhythmic clanking of the wheels were hypnotic. Maya glanced at the passengers again. The old man hadn't moved. The indirect woman, she remained still, and the child was now sitting 2 rows closer to her, and she hadn't seen him move. How had the child came closer to her? It was a question she had. Thinking about it, a chill ran down her spine. She shifted uncomfortably and pulled her coat tight around her. Something felt off. As time passed, Maya felt that the air surrounding her seemed heavier. It was pressing down on her like an unseen force. It was oppressing her. And now the lights started flickering. The scene outside the window, it was nothing but darkness. No street lights, no houses, nothing was there. Just endless darkness. Maya's pulses accelerated. This wasn't normal. She turned to the old man and said, "Excuse me, do you know where the next stop is?" The man slowly turned his head towards her. His eyes were deep and hollow. That was the first time she saw his face, and he locked eyes with her. He opened his cracked lips, and with a deep voice, he replied, "There is no next stop." The train suddenly shook violently, and Maya was thrown forward. There was a loud scream that filled the air, and suddenly there was loud silence. When she looked around, her breath was still caught in her throat. She could not breathe. She was suffocating with all the pressure and situation she was in. And she turned back to reply to the old man, but the old man had disappeared. There were only the creepy villains and the child with his toy rabbit. He stared at her, the child, and the child opened his lips slightly as if he wanted to say something. Then he started smiling in a creepy way. The train continued its relentless journey into the dark. So guys, what do you think? Where did the old man go? Who is the woman? And the child, what are their existence? What do you question of their existence to be? And we'll see you guys in the next one with part 2. Stay tuned, like, subscribe, and share this video.